So I was waiting in the morning to see him. And he opened the door of his cabin, and I saw that he was there, so I thought, I'll go in. So I went into Prabhupada's room, paid my obeisances, and looked at Prabhupada. I was thinking, I had done what Prabhupada wanted, and I was expecting a little honor, you could say. Prabhupada looked at me, sitting there, read my mind, and he said, "Oh, it is you. Call the others." So I went and called the others. The GBC was there. So no, at the end of the pastime. But my faith didn't diminish at all because I knew Prabhupada was my well-wisher. That was already established, just like Prahlada said. He knows, Lord Nishigadeva is his well-wisher. And so there's no fear. Because some people were afraid of Prabhupada. I wasn't afraid because I knew he was my well-wisher. That was already established before in many ways. I saw that he was my well-wisher. So he was free to cut whenever he felt like it. And I didn't protest. I mean, I was a little surprised. But I thought, okay, this is what Prabhupada is doing. He knows better than me what's good for me. Next paragraph. Prahlad said, I am not proud of being able to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's a good point. I simply take shelter of the mercy of the Lord, for without devotion, one cannot appease him. One cannot please the Supreme Personality of Godhead simply by dint of high parentage, great opulence, learning, austerity, penance, or mystic power. Indeed, these are never pleasing to the Lord, for nothing can please him but pure devotional service. Even if a non-devotee is a Brahmin qualified with the 12 rabbinical symptoms, he cannot be very dear to the Lord. Whereas if a person born in a family of dog eaters is a devotee, the Lord can accept his prayers. The Lord does not need anyone's prayers, but if a devotee offers his prayers to the Lord, the devotee benefits greatly. Ignorant persons born in low families, therefore, can sincerely offer heartfelt prayers to the Lord, and the Lord will accept them. As soon as one offers his prayers to the Lord, he is immediately situated on the Brahman platform. Any comments, questions? You see, this is Lord Chaitanya's mood. He picked up Haridas Thakur, was born in a Mohammedan family. So we're also in the Western world considered Malechas and Yavanas by the caste Brahmins, but still we can get the mercy of the Lord. This is our goal. We want to somehow or other get the mercy of the Lord. And what's the easiest way to get the mercy of the Lord? Is to get the mercy of the devotee of the Lord. And who is the recognized devotee of the Lord? Srila Prabhupada! Yes, I remember once we were sitting with Prabhupada and the devotee came in and he's still an active devotee actually. And Prabhupada said to him, "So Ishan, you remembering Krishna?" We were sitting 4 or 5 of us and this devotee just came in. Anybody know Ishan?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So Ishan, at the time, I don't know if you haven't met him in 30 years or so, but he was a little mentor. He said, "Well, Prabhupada, you spoke to me a little slowly." And Prabhupada said, "That's okay. You can remember me remembering Krishna." So that's Prabhupada's position. Saksharari. He's not Krishna. Those who claimed he was Krishna, he threw them out of his movement in 1970. I was there in New Vrindavan. Never thought he was Krishna, but he knew that he was the representative. I can tell a follow-up story. Once Prabhupada was giving class and he said, he was speaking about the position of the spiritual master, how he is a representative of Krishna. And when he said that, he was just closer to me than he is now there. And I got a kind of a mystical experience that Prabhupada was not an ordinary person. He's really a representative of God, and he's just sitting a few feet from me. So it made a big impression on me. But I didn't say anything at that moment. But the next day I was going to do my service. My service was giving Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada a massage. So I went to give him a massage and I said, Srila Prabhupada, I very much liked your class last night. And Prabhupada said, oh, what part did you like? I said, yes, Srila Prabhupada, the part where you said that you were the representative of Krishna. So this he accepted fully. Accepted it and turned it around and said, you also can be representative of Krishna. And not an exclusive club, only I'm the representative and you all, coolies or something. No, you also can be representative. When you say, Prabhupada said, he used his own name, or Krishna said, then you're also representing Krishna. So this is open for everybody. Devotional service is open for everybody. This is the point of this purport, right? For this paragraph. Lord Nrsimhadev appeared for the benefit of all human society, not only for Prahlad's personal benefit. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada appeared for the benefit of everyone. Shakshadari, he's as good as Krishna. And this is the secret of our success. If we keep Prabhupada in the center, this movement will grow and flourish and expand. We saw that after Prabhupada left, some of the deputies or whatever they were, they started to think they're at the same level as Prabhupada. I lived through it. Right here in California, one of the gurus was saying, I didn't ask to become guru, Prabhupada made me guru. Everybody knows guru was perfect, so I'm perfect. And then he was, having trouble with his female disciples, and later on had to give up sannyas and so on. So the point is Prabhupada told us at the end, keep the Acharya in the center. What is the difficulty? We're reading from Prabhupada's books. We have Prabhupada's Murti. We're all Prabhupada Nugas. So it's not very difficult, it's natural that we want to keep Prabhupada in the center. Then we all have a connection. Even my disciples, I also want them to keep Prabhupada in the center. This is the proper consciousness. What did I do and what has Prabhupada done? So we want to keep Prabhupada in the center, and then Krishna will be quickly pleased because he is Bhaktavatsala. He likes to see his devotee glorified. He wants to give credit to Arjuna. He wants to give credit to Bhima when he's fighting Jarasandha. Okay. So should appear for the benefit of all human society. The fierce form of Lord Nrsimhadev may appear most awful to a non-devotee, but to the devotee of the Lord, but to the devotee, the Lord is always affectionate, as he is in any other form. Conditional life in the material world is actually extremely fearful. Indeed, a devotee is not afraid of anything else. Fear of material existence is due to false ego. Therefore, the ultimate goal of life for every living entity is to attain the position of being servant of the Lord. Again, servant of the servant. We go through Prabhupada and we'll be safe. The miserable conditions of the living entity in the material world can be remedied only by the mercy of the Lord. Although there are so-called material protectors like Lord Brahma and other demigods, or even one's own father, they are unable to do anything if one is neglected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, one who has fully taken shelter of the Lord for his feet can be saved from the onslaught of material nature. Therefore, every living entity should be unattracted by material so-called happiness and should take shelter of the Lord by all means. That is the mission of human life. To be attracted by sense gratification is simply foolish. Why are we so attracted? The breasts of a woman, but they're mere forms of flesh. The same breasts in a few years, they'll be limp and hanging on her body. But we're attracted, young girl. So this is our test. We have to give up this attraction for the Maya. Maya means illusion. There's nothing substantial there, but we're attracted. We think, oh. So this is our challenge. This is our test. Everybody has to pass the test of sex life. We were talking this morning, Trivikrama was mentioning now. The chanting, the kirtan is so important. I'll just tell a quick story that probably illustrated the importance of kirtan. We were in Vrindavan in 1974. We had come there from Hong Kong to see Srila Prabhupada. We thought the temple was opening in Vrindavan, but it was delayed until the next spring. It wasn't ready. Then they opened it in 75 April. So at that time, their Prabhupada was giving class every night. And afterwards, we would have kirtan, and the kirtan would go on for a long time. First, we had kirtan, then short class, and then long kirtan the second time. And Prabhupada was enlivened with that. And he came back. He had been a little bit ill, but he was improving. He sat on his bed. Shrutikirti and I were there, sitting on the floor. Prabhupada was on the bed, and suddenly Prabhupada spoke like great from his heart, from his core. He said, "This kirtan is the special mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And if we don't get attached to the kirtan, no, then he said, this is a special mercy of Lord Chaitanya." I think there was one sentence I left out. But then the next point, he said, and if we don't get attracted to the kirtan, simply sex life. So that's what's going on in this world. So they're advertising, right? Every stop, there's sex life. Be happy. But you see, practically, it doesn't make one happy. Simply implicates one more and more. Of course, for begetting children, we have no objection. Krishna says this is, I am that. So you brahmacharis, you want to get married, it's a big responsibility. You have to take care of the wife and children for at least 25, 30 years. Better to stay brahmachari. So even Brahma and the goddess of fortune cannot achieve the full favor of the Lord, whereas the devotee can very easily attain such devotional service. The Lord's mercy is bestowed equally upon everyone, regardless of whether one is high or low, because Prahlad Maharaj was blessed by Narada Muni. Prahlad became a great devotee. The Lord always saves the devotees from impersonalism, from impersonalists and voidists. The Lord is present in everyone's heart as the super soul to give the living being protection and all benefits. Thus the Lord acts sometimes as the killer and sometimes as the protector. One should not accuse the Lord of any discrepancies. It is his plan that we see varieties of life within the material world. All of them are ultimately his mercy. Comments, questions? Yes, sir.
I have a question about sex life. What is the essence of the attraction to it? Like, what is
Yeah,
strong?
Adi Rasa. Krishna is that's right. Krishna is the relationship with Radharani. So, but in the mundane sex life, it's perverted, except for begetting good children. Prabhupada makes that clear. The Gita makes that clear. I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principle. Religious principle means your sex life for begetting children. Nature has given that intense pleasure, because along with it is intense trouble. You have to spend 30 years with them, take care of them, see that they've grown up. You can't just say, oh, like I took sannyas in 1971. Prabhupada asked me, take sannyas? Another devotee was there. He wanted to take sannyas also. Prabhupada didn't say. He said no. You have to be, the qualification, the real qualification is you have to be able to live alone. What about Charita? You ready to live alone?
Am I ready to what? Live alone, you said?
Live alone.
I'm living alone right now.
You're surrounded with all these
Oh.
But actually you are. Now that's, okay, I won't go any further with that one. Although the entire cosmic manifestation is non-different, the material world is nonetheless different from the spiritual world. So, Shinta Veda Veda, one and different. Only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord can one understand how the wonderful material nature acts. For example, although Lord Brahma appeared from the lotus seed that had grown from the abdomen of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he could not understand what to do after his appearance. He was attacked by two demons, Madhu and Kaitava, who took away Vedic knowledge. But the Lord killed them and entrusted to Brahma the Vedic knowledge. Thus the Lord appears in every millennium in the society of demigods, these animals, saints, and aquatics. As such, all such incarnations are meant to protect the devotee and kill the demons. But this killing and protection does not reflect any sense of partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. The conditioned soul is always attracted by the external energy. Therefore, he is subject to lust and greed. He suffers under the conditions of material nature. The Lord's causeless mercy towards him, his devotee, is the only means by which to get out of the material existence. Anyone engaged in glorifying the Lord's activities is always unafraid of this material world, whereas one who cannot glorify the Lord in that way is subjected to all lamentation. Comments, questions? Those interested in silently worshiping the Lord in solitary places may be eligible for liberation themselves, but a pure devotee is always aggrieved to see others suffering. Therefore, not caring for his own liberation, he is always engaged in preaching by glorifying the Lord. Lord Maharaj, therefore, had tried to deliver his class friends by preaching and had never remained silent. Although being silent, observing austerities and penance, learning the Vedic literature, undergoing ritualistic ceremonies, living in a solitary place, and performing japa and transcendental meditation are approved means of liberation. They are meant for non-devotees or for cheaters who want to live at the expense of others. A pure devotee, however, being freed from all such deceptive activities, is able to see the Lord face to face. That's pretty heavy. He doesn't give us any scope, huh? Even observing austerities and penance, living in a solitary place, they're all subjected to cheating. But a pure devotee, being free from all such deceptive activities, is able to see the Lord face to face. So that's our goal. Prabhupada was able to see Krishna face to face. Like there's a famous story about he was in New York and a reporter came and he was asking, well, how does Krishna get involved? This is an international society for Krishna consciousness. How does Krishna get involved in your society? So I think it was Rameshwari said, well, Krishna gives us the intelligence. How we can. The Prabhupada said, no. Krishna will directly speak to us, directly guide us. So that was Prabhupada's position. He was being directly guided. What is that verse? 10:10? Yes, he says, I will give you the Dami, I will give you intelligence, you can come to me. So Krishna will give us what we require. Only qualification from our side, we have to be sincere devotee, non-deceptive, non-duplicit. So it's not so easy because since time immemorial, we've been habituated to putting ourselves in the center. The psychiatrist or whatever they are, they say that a child at a certain amount of months, at 8 months or 14 months, they actually think that they're the center of the world. They actually think that. And they think that, the parents are coming into their world in this way and this way. But they think that's how we're born. It's called false ego. Everyone is born putting themselves in the center. Just like we have Trump, right? And we see Putin. Politicians are very subjected to this. Napoleon. He was asked, at one point he said, I am France. But this is the Maya. You think that you're the center, you're the most important. So we have to become humble. Just like when Prabhupada chastised me, at least for a few moments there, I was humble. I wasn't humiliated because I know it was coming from Prabhupada and he was my well-wisher. But I felt, could I share a quick story how Prabhupada made me humble? I was giving massage, right, and in London, first big open program was there. And 1969, after Prabhupada came in September, so it was maybe October. And we had maybe 400 or 500 people came, mostly Hindus, 50% Hindus at least. And some of them were interrupting. One man was saying, what about Lord Shiva? He stood up and like that. They were challenging Prabhupada, even while he was speaking. So Prabhupada said, sit down, you are nonsense. So we never saw Prabhupada so bold, because under ordinary dealing, he was very humble. So the next day, I was giving massage, and it was a series of lectures, so he was going to speak again that night. So I was giving massage. I used to give 11 o'clock in the morning, I would go, before he took lunch. And I was massaging, and I was thinking how Prabhupada was so bold here. And like a trainer, I was thinking I was getting Prabhupada in shape for another knockout performance. I was massaging and talking and massaging, and my mood was like, me and you, Prabhupada, we could take over the world. And massaging and talking, and suddenly Prabhupada said, no! My hands froze on his body. Then he said with another voice, like a 7-year-old child, from way in his heart, he spoke, he said, I am just a humble servant. I felt so embarrassed. I was thinking, I shouldn't be in the same room with this person. He's such an aristocrat, and I'm just an ordinary guy from New York. What to speak of being allowed to touch his body? There was a throw rug there, and I thought I should go under the rug. Because that's how Prabhupada was teaching. He was actually humble, and by his humility, I felt he became humble, at least for a moment. So that was Prabhupada's wonderfulness. He really did think he was a humble servant. How is it possible? Because he was always remembering his spiritual master, always remembering Krishna. So in that relationship, he was a humble servant. What is it? Lord Chaitanya said? Das, Anudas.
Gopi Bhava
Ah.
Pada Kamala, Dasan, Dasan, Dasan.
Servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis in Vrindavan.
Gopi Bhartu, he's servant of the lotus feet of the master of gopis. That's what the verse means.
Of the Manjaris or the gopis?
Gopi Bhartu, Padakama Mayor, Dasa Dasan. Padakama is the lotus feet. Bhartu is the lord of the gopis. So he's the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of the master of the gopis.
Yeah. Okay, where are we? So it's not the gopi, but we're the master of the gopis. So that's something I learned. I didn't know that. Thank you for that information. Where are we? The atomic theory of the composition of the cosmic manifestation is not factual. The Lord is the cause of everything, and therefore He is the cause of this creation. One should therefore always engage in devotional service by offering respectful obeisances to the Lord, offering prayers, working for the Lord, worshiping the Lord in the temple, always remembering the Lord, and always hearing about His transcendental activities. Without these 6 kinds of activities, one cannot attain to devotional service. What are the 6? Let's go over them. Engaging in devotional service by offering respectful obeisances to the Lord, offering prayers. I don't know if I offer prayers very much. Working for the Lord, that we do, right? Worshiping the Lord in the temple, always remembering the Lord, and always hearing about His transcendental activities. We're doing that now. Okay, Prahlad Maharaj thus offered his prayers to the Supreme Lord, begging His mercy at every step. When Nrsimhadev was pacified by Prahlad Maharaj's prayers and wanted to give him benediction, by which Prahlad could procure all kinds of material facilities. Prahlad Maharaj, however, was not misled by material facilities. Rather, he wanted to remain always a servant of the servant of the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj ki.
Yeah.
He's one of the Mahajans, right?
Yes.
No, shall we do the first verse or
Sure.
give enough time? We have a time restraint?
About a quarter of it.
Where's the clock?
That's why I said here, there's one around the 20 minutes. There's one.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Text 1. Srinaru Vacha.
Srinaru Vacha,
Srinaru Vacha.
Srinaru Vacha,
Evam Suradaya Sarve.
Evam Suradaya Sarve,
Evam Suradaya Sarve.
Evam Suradaya Sarve,
Ramurudra Purasaraha.
Ramarudra
Ramurudra Purasaraha.
Ramarudra
Nopaitum Akshan Manu. Nopaitum Akshakan Manu. Shamlam Vam Surudarshadam. Shamlam Vam Surudarshadam. Shri Naravacha,
Srinarvacha,
Evam Suradaya Sarve,
Evam Suraya Sarve,
Rudra Purasaraha,
Ramarudapurasara,
Nopaitum Ashakan Mavamanyu,
Nurvaitum Ashakam Manyu,
Samrambam Sudarshadam,
Samraham Surashadam,
Bolo.
Shri Narogacha,
Srinarvacha,
Evam Sudadiyat Sarve,
Evam Sarvaya Sarve,
Ramarudapurasara,
Ramarudapurasara,
Nopaitamashakam Manyu,
Nurvaitum Ashakam Manyu,
Samrambam Sudurasadam,
Samraham Surashadam,
Shri Narogacha,
Srinarvacha, Evam Suraya Sarve, Ramarudapurasara, Nupaitam Ashakam Manyu,
Samrambam Sudarshadam, Shri Naruvacha.
Srinarvacha,
The great saintly sage Narada Muni said,
the great saintly sage Narada Muni said,
Evam,
Evam,
thus,
thus,
Sura Adaya,
Suradaya,
the group of demigods,
the group of demigods,
Sarve,
Sarve,
all, Ramarudra Purasaraha,
Ramarudapurasara,
represented by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva,
represented by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva,
Na,
Nat,
Upaitum,
Nupaitam,
to go before the Lord,
to go before the Lord,
Akshikan,
Ashakan,
able,
able,
Manu,
Manu,
Samrambam,
Samraham,
in a completely angry mood,
in a completely angry mood,
Sudarshadam,
Sudarshadam,
very difficult to approach,
very difficult to approach,
Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. The great saint Narada Muni continued, the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other great demigods dared not come forward before the Lord, who at that moment was extremely angry. Responsibly, we do?
You can.
That's right. Purport. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung in his Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Krodha Bhakta Devesa Jane. Anger should be used to punish a demon who is envious of devotees. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsyarya. Lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy all have their proper use for the personality of Godhead and his devotee. A devotee of the Lord cannot tolerate blasphemy of the Lord or his other devotees. And the Lord also cannot tolerate blasphemy of a devotee. Thus, Lord Nrsimhadev was very angry that the great demigods, like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and even the goddess of fortune, who was the Lord's constant companion, could not pacify him. Even after offering prayers of glorification and praise, no one was able to pacify the Lord in his anger. But because the Lord was willing to exhibit his affection for Prahlad Maharaj, all the demigods and others present before the Lord pushed Prahlad Maharaj forward to pacify him. So this is the prominent quality of the Lord, Bhakti Vatsal. He loves Uddhava more than himself. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada is a recognized devotee. If we glorify him, put him in the center, so that the whole world comes to know who is his divine grace, is Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Then Krishna will be pleased with us. This is the easy way of pleasing the Lord. Speak the glories of his devotees. And we can. What's stopping us? Prabhupada is a historical figure. He was here just recently, a few years back. And here's his books, and here's his tapes, here's his conversations, here's his lectures. Please, read his book, read these purports. I'm seeing more and more. I'm going over, I have a Zoom conference every day where I'm reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's really amazing. I mean, I read all these books before, but to read them again after so many, it's so, Prabhupada's purpose is, he's really there. You can see it's not something he just, some book learning that he's repeating and telling us. No, he's realized these things. He's a fully realized soul, and his purpose for proof of that. So anybody reads his books, they're a little open, they can appreciate it. Who is this person? He's so wonderful. He's not bluffing. He's giving us the real thing. Why don't we take it? Not like this Sadhguru or some bogus people who are cheating. They're just cheating in the name of spiritual life. It was going on in Prabhupada's time also. Therefore, he was always getting angry with them. He would get angry with them. I remember once in Japan, they had a program in a city outside of Tokyo. I wasn't there, but I got to report from Berja, my friend, who was there. So the program was, this Indian man had invited us, and he invited his guru also. So the guru was sitting on the stage, and the devotees were here, and they had, like they usually do, right? We had kirtan. I wasn't there, but they had kirtan, and then Jayam prayers, then Prabhupada spoke, and then after Prabhupada spoke, this guru guy started speaking. His mentor there told him. And after he spoke for about 2 or 3 minutes, Prabhupada couldn't tolerate it anymore. He told the devotees, stop him. And Berjan said, he thought, what should we do? Should we kill him? Prabhupada said, stop him. So devotees, some they stood up, and Prabhupada, then instead of killing him, Prabhupada said, do kirtan. So loud kirtan they had while this guy was giving class. So he had to stop. Right? They did stop him by the kirtan. And this same, I met this same guy who arranged this program afterwards, and he criticized Prabhupada. He said, I saw your spiritual master got angry. He's not a sadhu. That's how they judge. The Jains, the Buddhists, they say this is bogus. You can't get angry. But here, you see, anger should be used. Prabhupada was angry. And he used to get angry with us. But it was always just like a razor, just like the surgeon is using a scalpel to cut away the crap, the polluted part. So Prabhupada can help us in that way. And our God brothers and anybody can. If it's done without envy, then we should welcome correction. Of course, due to false ego, it's difficult. What to do? We should take risk and become angry sometimes when we see that Krishna is being minimized, Prabhupada is being minimized. We shouldn't tolerate it. Then we'll become accustomed to it, and then we'll go to hell. Just like Sati, she couldn't tolerate that her husband was being insulted by her father, and she gave up her body at that time, rather than hear blaspheming of advanced devotee, but she was so advanced. So we don't go looking for trouble, but we should be prepared. I remember in early days I was going out on the street in London selling books, and I was coming back and going into the subway. I was alone, but I had to leave. And there was a guy selling papers, and he said, you're Krishna. He said something bad about Krishna. I can't remember what it was, but something insulting to Krishna. And I said, you better shut up. I'm going to throw you down these stairs. And he looked at me. And said, I thought you were a pacifist. Like Buddhist or something. I said, well, you thought wrong. And then, we can show our anger. Krishna is being blasphemed. Otherwise, we become polluted. So many examples are there. We can't hear blasphemy. We have to either close our ears, leave the place, or cut out the tongue of the one who's speaking. So that's mentioned. So we don't recommend that, but we can chant loudly like Prabhupada had us do. There's one story Prabhupada was coming on the train to Calcutta to start this movement. He was going first to Mayapur, getting blessing there, and then coming to Calcutta to get on the ship. So he's leaving from Bombay, he's on the train, and a prostitute approached him. Prabhupada was a handsome man. The prostitute approached. Prabhupada, what did Prabhupada do? Loudly chanted Hare Krishna. Who can imitate that? Hare Krishna! And she was afraid. So like that, protected by the holy name. We shouldn't be afraid to chant loudly. Sometimes Narada Muni chanted so loudly, the wives of the demons had abortions. Yeah. Of course, we can also chant in our mind. We can chant silently, that's nice. But we shouldn't chant out of grounds in our mind. That was a discussion once I was there. Probably one devotee was just chanting in his mouth. Actually, Prabhupada recommends we should chant loud enough so we can hear, or somebody sitting next to us can hear clearly the mantra, every word. So this discussion came up. Somebody was chanting in the mind, and Prabhupada said, "Does he eat in the mind?" No, we should chant audibly so that we can hear. The main thing is we're chanting so we can hear the holy name. It should be loud enough that we can hear it clearly, each syllable. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Okay, any questions?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama?
I have a question.
Yes,
May I?
please.
But I can wait if the devotees in the temple room would like to go first.
You could
Ask
follow.
your question, Vijay. Ask it. It's okay.
Yes, thank you very much, you're most kind. No, I am a little confused because you're saying that anger should be used in.
Can be used, yeah.
Yes, but Lord Krishna in his Bhagavad Gita is telling to Arjuna that anger, greed, and lust are the
Gateways to hell,
gateways
yeah. Okay, you want to hear the explanation?
to hellish life.
Okay, I'm going to explain to you. Anger, lust, and greed can be used in the service of the Lord, but generally they don't. They're used for sense gratification. We get angry because our sense gratification is interrupted, so we become angry, frustrated. But in order for Arjuna to fight, he had to be somewhat angry. How can you go on the battlefield and take arrows and shoot it unless you're a little angry? Who are these people coming to usurp the land? You have to be angry. So we don't see that Krishna told Arjuna, don't be angry. You should get angry and fight these your cousin brothers because they're wrong. So on principle of religion, we could get angry. And Arjuna did. And Krishna was happy that he did. He was criticizing him before he got angry. He said, Kutas, where have these impurities come upon you? Why are you sentimental? Okay, you satisfied?
That's good.
I have a
Yes,
question.
I'm satisfied. Thank you very much, you're most kind.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I have a question. Hold on.
Next chapter 10 of this canto, has this purport, and in this purport, Prabhupada says this: the Krishna consciousness movement is spreading all over the world with two aims: to establish Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to kill all the pretenders who falsely present themselves as avatars. The preachers of the Krishna consciousness movement must carry this conviction very carefully within their hearts and kill the demons who in many tactful ways vilify the Supreme Lord, Krishna. If we take shelter of Nrsingadev and Prahlad, it will be easier to kill the demons who are against Krishna and to thus re-establish Krishna's supremacy. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam.
So that killing again means killing the demonic mentality. Doesn't mean in Kali Yuga we don't fight with weapons. We kill their mentality, just like Prabhupada did with that sadhu on the stage. He couldn't speak anymore because the devotees were jumping and screaming Hare Krishna and Hare Kirtan in front of him. So he was killed in a sense that he couldn't continue with his.
We can can understand that metaphor. We understand. But someone that bought one of the sets, they're selling these sets by the thousands now, and people are reading these books for the first time. Do you think that they're gonna pick that up?
If they read the whole book, they'll understand.
I hope so.
Even right there, doesn't he say like Prahlad? Wasn't the example of Prahlad given in that exact?
Prahlad is here. If we take shelter of Nrsimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj, it will be easier to kill the demons who are against Krishna. And I know Prabhupada usually, he also, he says that, we should kill the non-mentality, obviously.
Yeah. In Kali Yuga, we don't. If we start killing demons, then where will it end? Everybody has some demonic mentality. That's explained. In the Satya Yuga, there was no demons, right? The Treta Yuga, the demons were on other planets. And I don't know exactly. Dwarka Yuga, they're on the same planet. And in Kali Yuga, they're in our mind. Everybody has some demonic quality. So we start saying, we see, oh, you're a little bit, I want to kill you. We're going to go. There's no limit. Therefore, we don't kill you.
But you mentioned the daily Zoom class, can we have details?
He wants to attend your Zoom class. How can he attend your Zoom class?
Having it this morning at 9:30. You have to go. If you send me your email, I can give you the link. But my email is trivikrama.swami@gmail.com. Trivikrama with an A, Trivikrama, all small letters, .swami@gmail.com. You send me your email and I can link you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, my question is, you mentioned that you were there in New Vrindavan in 1971, and she probably kicked out the devotees who wrongfully.
Well, he didn't kick them out. He was in Japan at the time. But
He agreed that they
what he instructed on the phone that they shouldn't be allowed to stay in any of his temples.
Oh, I see. So they were banned, and then later they came back.
Well, he told them, you travel and preach, don't stay at any of our temples, and when you're purified of this offense, we can accept you back.
And that's how Indra Swami became a devotee. But my question is, so they had the wrong concept of who Prabhupada was. And what we could also contribute to a misconception if we say the wrong things about Srila Prabhupada.
That's true.
I find it popular by some devotees that will say Srila Prabhupada knew past, present, and future. But that's really a quality that only Krishna possesses.
No, Trikalagya,
Trikalagya.
living entities can have that capacity also, not just Krishna. But there is, I'm glad you brought it up, because there is one thing that we should confront, this Rigveda philosophy. Rigveda philosophy is changing principle of religion. Parampara is a principle. Krishna came to reestablish it. You don't mind I'm taking the mic away from you in a sense.
That's
Yeah, but Prabhupada didn't have the power to do that. He didn't have the power to change religious principles. They're giving him power he didn't have. Just like you're saying, they're exaggerating. They were saying Prabhupada is God. So they're exaggerating. They're thinking Prabhupada can stop the parampara. No, come on. That's been going on. That's since time immemorial. Evam parampara. It's been established. But they're saying, no, Prabhupada wanted to stop now. He's the last guru. And they're quite prominent. They're building the biggest temple ever in Vrindavan. They have money, they have followers, they have thousands of people who buy into this idea that parampara has stopped. Now Prabhupada is the last guru. Prabhupada doesn't have that power to stop. This is Dharma to Shakshat Bhagavan. Only Bhagavan, only God can establish principles of religion. And this is one of the principles. Evam parampara. When Krishna came to reestablish it, it appears to be a little bit lost, so therefore, very important principle.
Yeah, I agree. But they'll say that Srila Prabhupada was empowered by Krishna to change the parampara,
No,
to make all kinds of changes.
well,
Brahmacharya
but that's
ashram.
it comes back to the original point you're making. You're glorifying Prabhupada, and it leads to trouble. No, Prabhupada is not Vishnu Tattva. He's not in it.
But you're saying that the Jivatma can also know past, present, and future?
Yeah.
Like all the time?
Isn't that?
All the time? Or
Yeah.
anytime? Or-
No.
The thing is, the one thing is knowing past, present, future, and the other thing is being omniscient like Krishna. We went through all this already.
Oh, I know.
Prabhupada was asked,
Hmm.
we went through this, Jayavada Das Brahmachari, he was Prabhupada's main editor at one point near the end there. And he was anxious about his service because here you are correcting the Acharya. And so there's a morning walk, it was in 75, with the big, opening of the Krishna Balaram temple, everyone went to Mayapur first. And he wasn't a sannyasi or anything, but he insisted to go on that, and he asked Prabhupada, how are we to understand if the Acharya knows everything, but sometimes he makes, he's very polite about it, sometimes he makes a mistake in quoting a verse or something like that.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada was very clear. He says, no jiva, I'm just paraphrasing, can be omniscient like Krishna and know everything. And that past, present, and future, sure, you can understand some things about past, present, and future more than the ordinary person, but not like Krishna, not omniscient. And that is one of this whole thing came up with a certain Maharaj, many followers starting, and he was traveling, and the question came up, why did Prabhupada stop the Gurukul in Dallas? There was abuse going on that he visited there, but he just went through and it went on, and some other kids were abused. If he knew everything past, what I mean? It's challenging. But Prabhupada wasn't pretending to be like that. He said it specifically, no, only, and the Paramatma. Yeah. So it's a very critical line.
We came in front of Prabhupada and he wanted some twigs for brushing his teeth. And he asked two of us were there and we said, well, Prabhupada, we don't, and then we were looking at Prabhupada for I forget it exactly, but Prabhupada said, I don't know, I'm not God. He said, he doesn't know everything. He doesn't know what you're thinking now, but Krishna knows. Okay, let's stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki,
Jai.
Sri Prabhupada ki. Any Ritviks around here?
There's some, not in this room. Go overboard. We're gonna let the guru slow down, so it's just.
Yeah, that's what started, before the Guru started pulling down, everybody knew what was that Guru.
I mean, I always, we went through all
No, but
the
I-
letters, debate, conversation, there will be regular gurus, Then there was this letter where all of these devotees waiting to be initiated. So that's what he did. Okay, the readers, if they were recommending the Father. So he says, okay, they can make the decision without the Father.
They'll be in my-
On my behalf.
Yeah, and his names will be listed in my book.
Yeah, because there might, that short period, when Prabhupada was so early in the year, but not that forever after.
Not only that, but October 23rd, you can read it in conversation.
Not that I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's a very important verse or conversation.
Okay.
If there was a gentleman there, a knowledge gentleman, he wants to get initiated, but I can't do it. I can't do it. So I want to stop. He wants to stop what? Just initiating. on the list? Yeah, but he can ask what he wanted to do like when he goes.
Yeah.
And then he said, if I recover, maybe I can again do it. But that was a few weeks before. So it's very clear there.
Yeah, but there
These are- these are-
this whole, the whole word, I mean, I remember this whole, the word henceforward. It wasn't henceforward forever, it was henceforward, you know.
Tomorrow, and he meant until property.
Yeah.
He was the one who coined that word.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When he was asked about it, he said, no, that's the system. You don't initiate it when you. The law, this happened with Siddha Sarup, he just started to initiate it. I said, no. Or even Hatsaluda.
I remember that, from when I come in, I think some of my disciples were wishing that I go over it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.